Welcome back, everybody. From pandemics to superstorms, New York is a city known for its resilience. And perhaps the greatest test of that was the attacks on September 11th, which many thought the city would never recover from. True to form, the Big Apple reimagined, redeveloped, and rebuilt. And joining me now to discuss the evolution of NYC is real estate developer Bill Rudin. His Rudin Management Company owns 4 office properties in the financial district, and he is joined by our very own Bob Pisani down at the NYSE. Robert?
Thank you. And thank you, Kelly. And Bill, thanks very much for joining us. You know, Bill, I remember talking to you right after 9/11. And for those of us who were down here, as I was, it was a time of tremendous grief and fear and, frankly, pessimism. And when I talked to you yesterday and said, tell me about the last 20 years, you described what has happened downtown as a minor miracle. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think we have to look at it in a historical perspective. Go back, and you and I talked many times in the mid-'90s when Lower Manhattan had 30 million feet of vacant space. That's 30%. So back then, we created the blueprint, so to speak, to diversify Lower Manhattan's economy. It used to be 70% financial service, 30% others. Today, it's 30% financial service and 70% TAMI, education, many others. But we created the plan to convert older, obsolete office buildings to residential. And we were heading in the right direction. But obviously, 9/11 was a major tragic event for everybody in downtown, the city, the country, and we had to take a step back. I think at that time, there were maybe 20,000 people living in Lower Manhattan. And then all of a sudden, a year later, after 9/11, things started to come back together and people started moving back downtown, companies moved back downtown, and things turned around. And that's what I talk about in terms of miracle. And your article this morning talked about why 9/11 really could be a roadmap for getting through the COVID crisis. The same thing. Everybody talked negatively about the downtown that wasn't coming back, happened again after the financial crisis, happened again after Sandy. Nobody was ever going to move and live downtown or work downtown. And before the COVID, we had nearly 70,000 people living downtown. New companies moved downtown: Uber, Spotify, Moet, ESPN. So we will continue that momentum. Obviously, COVID has stopped and slowed things down, but we're already seeing some very positive signs of people coming back to live downtown, companies looking for space. We have a building around the corner, 80 Pine Street, where we've just completed a major renovation, and we're seeing tremendous activity going on.
Yeah, you know, when I came to work at the New York Stock Exchange 20 years ago, at 7 a.m. in the morning, there was no one here. There was nobody here at 5 o'clock either. Today, I come to work at 7 o'clock, 20 years later, and there's people walking their dogs out front of the New York Stock Exchange. Never happened before. There's restaurants that are open down here. It's a 24-hour community. 65,000 people live downtown. I have lived and watched this transformation, including the redevelopment of the Trade Center, the West Side Highway, the development of the Transit Hub and the Colatrava Center. It's truly a miracle. And yet, Bill, COVID hangs over everything. And when everybody says, well, you know, I don't know how much it's going to come back, frankly, because of the concerns, or people are not going to come back into the office, or we're not going to get the same number of tourists that we depend upon down here.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.